What I was going to do today was maybe skip this one or skip doing anything today because my mind's still trying to grasp the idea of it was all set for having surgery done. Right now I should be under the knife, but they postponed the surgery. But God gave me a sort of a peace now that's starting to envelop me, that if he knew I couldn't take it, he wouldn't have allowed it to happen. So he knows that he will be able to give me strength. He'll be able to give me encouragement. He'll be able to give me whatever I need to last until what they do, they do. So here I go. This is Elder Adrian Heyman, and thinking today about violence. Yeah, violence. We've been hurt way too much by the activities of those who are angry or who just want something that we have, and use violence as the way to settle, to obtain, to avenge, to whatever it happens to be. That, of course, is a motorcycle. But violence, to me, only begets violence. Doesn't help anyone really for any significant period of time. People try to blame different races, different cultures, and I must admit, we are in this country a significant gun culture, as so many people, there are so many guns around that the guns outnumber the amount of people that are living in this nation. Which means that if some people are walking around without guns, some are stockpiling them. Think about that too. I remember growing up in a neighborhood, maybe some of you may know about it. It's south of USC, some University of Southern California, as they said. Some call it South Central. What is now the 110. And we had our share of tragedies. Friends getting shot up. We're getting locked up, jailed, murdered. I remember wanting it to rain, because if it rained, that meant that subconsciously no one's out there threatening anyone, no one's trying to shoot anyone, no one's trying to rob anybody. That's just how I thought. The rain was peaceful, whereas it's time where everyone backs down from there. At least that was a gullible mind like mine at the time, but still, wanting nights of peace. One of the reasons why we moved over to where we are now is because my son, he was like maybe 2 years old, was playing with his toys. And out the window, we were staying in Inglewood. And we heard some shots. And I could see him tense up. And we covered him up. Found out that someone had tried to come into our backyard. I said, well, this is enough, we have to move. And the neighborhood that I have is pretty quiet. It is quiet. But at the same time, let nobody fool you. They stockpile their guns out here. They really do. So if you think that you're safe from guns. No, we just walked right into the middle of them. But the Lord has kept us. He's kept us when we were on Broadway and Gage and Florence and Main Street. We were kept when we were in Inglewood, and we've been kept being out here in Orange. That still doesn't take away from the fact that you hear every night someone has killed someone. And let me talk about this. Violence is not just the guns. It's a big part of it because guns make it much more easier for you to kill somebody. I mean, think about, what are guns used for? Their purpose is to maim and to kill. That's what they're used to do. That's why they make the bullets that they do. That's why they have the power that they have. It is to end the life or to maim or disable someone so they can't threaten you anymore. Can cars do that? Sure, cars can do that. But the first thing that cars are used for is to drive, not to, even though it could be used. Knives, yeah, knives definitely very, very deadly things. But most are used for cutting meat or cutting vegetables or cutting some other object other than each other. So there's a purpose for cars, there's a purpose for knives, there's a purpose for so many other things, but the purpose of guns is to kill, pretty much. And those who have grasped that meaning have done so to horrific effect. We mourn too many people. Then we start blaming everyone. The right blames the left for indoctrinating people. The left blames the right for having guns in the first place. And the thing about it here, very simply, is that it's not even the weapons of choice. I've talked about it a few sessions ago regarding the days of Noah and days of Lot. And we're certainly living in that time because it is in the mindset of people, the mindset to harm others without thinking about the harm it will do, not just past your own situation. I really think that people who kill others are selfish, extremely selfish. You know, number one, you take a life, and number two, you think is only going to affect this small thing. It has huge ramifications over and beyond what you can even think. And you've just set the fuse going. Why? Because you didn't like what someone said. Because you didn't like how they said it. Because you didn't like someone because of how they look. Because they're of a different group. And so therefore you find for a short period of time, like think about this, you kill your spouse. You kill your spouse. One you had promised to love, to cherish, to hold, but because you don't want your spouse to know that you are a two-timer, a three-timer, a four-timer, that you're an adulterer, or whatever you happen to be, you decide to kill her. And you think that's going to solve the problem. It does not solve the problem. It makes it much, much, much worse. Just thinking about that subject, about violence, just wanting to strike one another, wanting to hit one another, wanting to prove that you have the right to lord over somebody else. And it's gotten into some of our churches. And maybe not the gun culture, but no, well, that too. Many of our saints now own guns. I'm not saying that the guns themselves are bad. Again, you have to understand, believe that this is for last resort purposes. Last resort. That means that unless you are being threatened with your life, you threatened with your life or your belongings, mainly your life though, then why do you need a gun? There are some people that will, of course, dispute me. Fine. I'm not going to go against your right to bear arms. But you should take care in how those arms are born. It's not only just violence to other people, it's also violence to yourself. And I've just had things happen to me too close, of those who have unfortunately used what they've obtained to end their own lives. And it could have been me. It could have been me. And why wasn't it me? You can go back and forth with that to the end of time. But what is left are destroyed families, a mother grieving for her lost one. She'll never have that person back to hold. She'll never call that name out and that person comes running. And it's just a horrible thing to even imagine violence. It does not resolve the issue. Maybe that's why the Bible talks so much against it, about hurting one another. That's why he said, I believe in Revelation, and I'm really hitting that verse now. I can see it more and more happening. That those who use the sword, you go ahead and read it for yourself. I may not be quoting it directly, but those that use the sword shall die by the sword. Those who use a weapon shall die by the weapons. And there's been instances of people who the Lord has kept them. I remember myself, and my sister will vouch for it. We were coming home from church, and someone, I knew that person, but he was coming from running down the street. He looked at us, pointed something at us for a little bit, and I had absolutely no idea what he was doing because it was a little dark. And I didn't realize until after he had left that my sister told me he was pointing a gun at us. He could have pulled the trigger, we would not be here. But God knew. He knew. And I often wonder whatever happened to that particular person. I don't want him to die. I don't want him to, of course he should be responsible for his actions. But I'm not purposely wanting him to be dead, no. But the thing with violence, and I'm going to end. Violence, if carried to its conclusion, whether it's you knifed somebody, poisoned someone, drowned someone, shot someone, blew up someone, doesn't matter. Once that threshold is crossed and the person goes from life to death, it's too late to say, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to kill you. No, I did not do that. We can't even be in that position. Saints never want to so bad to hate someone whether in the church or out the church, never hate someone so bad that you wish they were dead. Because you may end up being the one that becomes the catalyst for that to take place. The Lord didn't tell us to hate one another, to despise one another, to plot evil against others. Even when someone does us wrong, you think it's weak, but it's not. It's, you made up your mind that I could do something, but I won't. I'm going to trust God. In fact, if you want, here, take this. Here, take that. You want to strip me? Here, take my clothes too. I don't care. Because Jesus actually said that. Because he knew how precious life is. And how wasting it over anything is rather frivolous. Just my thoughts. You could definitely comment on them, even if your experiences. And I'm excited to hear what you would answer. But anyway, God bless you. May he keep you. I love you all. And don't resort to violence. If you're saved, let's put on the whole armor of God. So we won't have, so the only fighting that we would need to do is spiritual, not physical. Love you all in Jesus' name.